Hello, it's Book Chick again, and first off, I'm in a different setting. I'm in my living room because the lighting is better. So I'm gonna try this for a while until I get a camera and a ring light. So hit like and subscribe so that that can happen a little bit sooner. But this video is basically my summer book haul. I think I'm gonna do them seasonally. That way I'm not like constantly buying books and I'm not broke all the time. So this was what I bought this summer. There is one more book, but it's not here yet. So if I remember, I will mention it. But we're just gonna like basically go down the list of what I bought. Most of it I bought at a local bookstore, and one book I bought from Owl Crate. So the first book is Mary Poppins, and Mary Poppins Comes Back. Yes, I'm a dork. I still read children's books, but this one is really old and it's a classic. I believe it's from 1937. Let me look. Yes, 1937. When this was new, it was $3.95 at the store. I think I got it for around 10. The total of like everything that I bought in this round was like $40, not counting the book that I got from Owl Crate. So obviously this is about Mary Poppins. It's the first story and the second story. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna read it, but then it's gonna go on my shelf and just look cute. So, and someday I'll read it to my kids. But yeah, it's in pretty good condition considering its age. The dust jacket is obviously worn, but the book itself is totally fine. There's just like a couple of tears on like the first 5 pages, but that's easily fixable. Um, so the next book is um, To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Yes, again, a nerd. I still read YA. I've seen the movie on Netflix and the sequel, but I've not read the book, and I think this will just be a really fun, cute little read. It is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. So basically, it is about this girl named Laura Jean, and she wrote, I think, 5 letters to boys that she had crushes on at like different ages. So like she was like really, really young. I'm trying not to bounce my camera. She was really, really young when she wrote the first letter, and then like a little older for the second letter, and so on and so on. I think the last letter that she wrote was like ninth grade when she wrote it. But basically, she's, kind of complaining that she doesn't have a boyfriend, and oh, poor me, I'm so single, and I'm 16, and I should have a boyfriend, and, all that stuff that you think when you're 16. But her little sister finds the letters and she mails them because Laura Jean actually put their addresses on the letters, and as it turns out, they all still live in the same places. So basically, the first boy is he goes to her high school now, and he gets the letter, and it gets real awkward real fast. So the whole story is kind of following her crush on him and him getting the letter and reading it and thinking like, oh, it's so cute and all that stuff. And um, it's like a whole, teenage roller coaster, but it should be a really fun, cute little read. And I want to read the other 2 books, which are P.S. I Still Love You and Always and Forever, Laura Jean, which are the sequels. And basically, this is the first movie that Netflix did, and then the um, the next ones, the next movie, I think, is actually both books because they say both of those things in the next movie. So, yeah, so I can't wait to read this. So, then the next book is actually an ARC, an advanced release copy. This one I did not pay for. It was in like their free box, and I don't know why. But it is Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman, which basically follows Maria Owens, who, if you don't know, she is like the great 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 grandma in practical magic. And so this is the story of like how that family like kind of came to be. So it follows Maria, and it's set in the 1600s, and she's basically abandoned in rural England as a baby. Um, she learns magic, and um, who's Hannah? It says Hannah recognizes that Maria has a gift, and she teaches the girl all that she knows. Hmm. But it doesn't say who Hannah is. That's weird. Must be the person who finds her. Um, but then, if you know the story Practical Magic, Maria is betrayed by a man who has declared his love for her, and she follows him all the way to Salem, Massachusetts, where she invokes a curse that will haunt her family. And it is here that she learns the rules of magic and the lessons she will carry with her for the rest of her life. So basically, this is the prequel to Practical Magic, which is a long time coming. Practical Magic came out in like the 90s. Sandra Bullock was in the movie. But yeah, so this has been a long time coming, and I'm super excited for it. It comes out in October 6th of this year. So super, super excited. Cannot wait to read it. Can't believe it was in the free box. Like, what the heck? Um, the next book is Whistling Past the Graveyard by Susan Crandall. So basically this book is it's set in 1963, and a 9-year old sorry little girl runs away from her super strict grandmother's house in Mississippi, and she runs across she wants to go to Nashville, where her mother went to become like a famous singer, like you do. um so she wants to follow her mom, but her mom abandoned her when she was 3, so that's why she was living with grandma. And, wandering around on her way to Nashville, she gets a ride from a black woman who's traveling alone with a white baby. So, right off the bat, this is kind of weird. Um, but the road trip will change her life forever, and she sees for the first time life as it really is, as she reaches for a dream of how it could one day be. So, this is kind of like a civil rights era book, and so I imagine that as a 9-year-old little girl, she's kind of awakened to the fact that, some people are different and their lives are very, very different from hers, and that maybe perhaps her life isn't as bad as she thought it was. So this should be really good as well. Can't wait to read it also. Um, but yeah, so that's exciting. Then I also, some of these were like in a grab bag. So I also got A Dog's Journey by Bruce Cameron. So this is, I think the sequel to A Dog's Purpose, which, excuse me, from what I've read, this is, basically following the same dog, still Buddy, but he's reborn again, and he is, adopted by Clarity, who is, I think, the granddaughter or daughter of the main character in the last book. And so he kind of like grows up with her, and they grow up together, and roller coaster, of emotions and everything, and their lives are intertwined, and basically it's the same story but done over again, and now he is the little girl's dog. So super, super cute. Am I gonna cry? Yes. um, the next book is The Postmistress by Sarah Blake. This is a novel. Apparently, Catherine Stockett, who wrote The Help, gave it a really good review. But basically, if I remember the blurb, yeah, it's set in World War II in France and London, and the main character is Frankie Baird, who is the first woman to report from the Blitz in London. And so she talks about, what's going on and everything, and she begs listeners to pay attention and like do whatever they can to help. And then so it like follows her in London, but it also follows someone in Franklin, Massachusetts, who hears the broadcasts from London and um is basically afraid that the war is going to make it to America. She's in charge of the town's mail, and she believes that it's her job to deliver and keep the people's secrets. So, this is going to be really dramatic, which sometimes I like to read as like a nice break from fantasy. But I'm not super picky, like, I'll read whatever. Obviously, all of these books are like so different from each other. Um, so the next one that I got is Away by Amy Bloom. This one does not have a blurb, so it's gonna be a surprise. But it's a novel. Is it gonna be romance? Is it going to be a drama? I don't know. But we'll see. So I'll give it a review whenever I finish it. It's super short, so hopefully it's like a quick read. It's an older book, but yeah. So hopefully that's interesting. I also picked up Wuthering Heights. I did not have this yet, and I've been wanting to read it for a really long time. So if you don't know, this is a classic by Emily Bronte. Um, it's set in, it's based on the 1847 first edition novel. This is where is the blurb? I, I don't remember well enough to tell you exactly what this is about, but I'm pretty sure it is a classic romance novel, kind of like Jane Eyre, Jane Austen, those kinds of books. But it was a big deal because this was written in a time when a lot of women didn't really write much. So huge deal. Can't wait to read it. It's on the very long TBR. I think I have time for one more book before my um, video will be too long. So the next book that I got is Moriarty by Anthony Horowitz. So this basically follows, um, this is after Holmes and Moriarty, take a dive off of a waterfall, I think. So now, like, there has to be a new mastermind criminal. So this is like about kind of Moriarty's replacement, if you will. Um, yeah. So can't wait to read this. It looks super dark. I love the cover. Wow, it's so pretty. I don't know when it came out, but it's super cool and I can't wait to read it. So this is gonna be the last book for this video. I will have to do a part 2 coming soon.